Want to demonstrate the concept of inverse kinematics and forward kinematics. I'm going to do it in 3D because 2D and 3D, it's the same idea where with a rig, you're connecting the pixels in After Effects to these bone systems, these joint systems that form this hierarchy of a skeleton. In 3D, same concept. Imaginary object is the rig, and you're connecting, instead of pixels, you're connecting vertices. It's all about control. I'm in Maya. You can view this in any other 3D application like Blender, Cinema 4D, etc., showing the joints. I could turn them off, and you probably can imagine that this object as paper cutout within a After Effects timeline. So you can use 3D objects creatively after you render it out, of course. Here I'm just showing the concept of joints and rigging and inverse kinematics and forward kinematics. So this character, let's say I wanted this character, let me go back to the main character, to take a step forward or to reach out for an object. Let me unhide my object, H. If I want this character to reach for this sphere, I would start with the uppermost root joint of the arm, upper arm, and then you would rotate it towards that position. You can see it kind of gets there, but it misses. So then you would go down the joint chain to the lower arm and then rotate it. And then you go to the hand, and maybe the hand will start to twist like this. Of course, the character would have to lean forward. So this is forward kinematics, starting with the rootmost joints and animating down the chain to the childmost objects. Undo, undo, undo. Inverse kinematics is the reverse, where the chain from the child is resolved back up the chain towards the root. Switching to control rig, I have this controller around here, and to reach this ball, all I have to do is kind of move the arm towards a sphere. See, and it will reach. And so that's the cool part of inverse kinematics. It can reposition the whole joint chain to make animating a lot easier. If I was going to animate this, let's say I press a keyframe. The concept keyframes universal throughout animation programs, and then I tell the character, hey, reach towards this. And that's my first movement. So the animation all of a sudden looks like this. Imagine with forward kinematics how many steps I would have to take in order to start to get the secondary motion down here to happen. If my character isn't close enough, then I would go to some other controller. Let's say that one. And as the character resolves the joint chain from here to here, maybe I need it to lean into that, lean forward a little bit like this. So all of a sudden, whether it's 2D or 3D, with inverse kinematics, you could start to really make your animations come to life quicker. This part here, instead of the whole body, I'll just do this part of the joint chain. And from here to here, say from here was good. But when it gets here, maybe I need this to rotate and also reach inward. Kind of grip onto that. So that's the power of inverse kinematics. Now imagine this taking a step when you want to do a walk cycle. If I want to take a step on top of an object, H key, and I'll hide this one. With forward kinematics, again, you would start with the uppermost joint of this joint chain. Let's say upper leg, rotate it up, rotate the lower leg, and then rotate the foot to anticipate putting it on top of the box. With inverse kinematics, start with the child object, such as this. And you would lift it up, let's say here. And so you already have your animation started. You can see the character leaning into that. So that's the difference between inverse kinematics, starting with the child object in a chain and moving it forward and resolving the chain back up the chain to the parents, while forward kinematics is all about starting with the parent, moving it, going down the rigging chain of hierarchy.